Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, police are investigating a fire that destroyed a mobile home this morning. And authorities in Trinity County are warning residents of river flood threats after a man was found dead in a river Wednesday night. And the latest saga of the southern border, Governor Abbott is doubling down on his security initiatives.
Well, it's a little soupy out there. We've had a few little light showers, nothing significant. The thing is, by tomorrow morning, this is all going to blow away. And we're looking for some drier weather over the weekend. We'll have all the details coming up.
Plus, Victoria College Board of Trustees approved a $33 million budget for the school for the construction of a new Student Success Center. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. A jury has awarded an additional $83.3 million in damages to writer E. Jean Carroll, who says former President Donald Trump damaged her reputation after she accused him of sexual assault. Today's verdict is the second time in 9 months that a jury addressed Carroll's claim that Trump assaulted her in 1996. Last May, Trump was found liable for sexual abuse and was ordered to pay $5 million. This defamation trial was over what Trump said about Carroll while he was president. Now at around 10 a.m. today, fire crews were on the scene battling a blaze in the 100 block of Ridgemont Street. The fire started in a mobile home next to a home. The flames reached that nearby home, causing roof damage. No one was hurt, and the cause of the fire remains unknown as the investigation continues.
Firefighters entered the home and stopped fire spread through the rest of the structure. The mobile home is a total loss, and we have significant fire damage to 25% of the exposure home.
How many more days?
The cause of the fire is still under investigation. After the recent rain and subsequent flooding, some residents say they've dealt with flooding. 25 News Now Weekend anchor Adam Seibel has more.
That's right, Karina. So earlier this week, you heard from a resident in Inez who says flooding on his property has gotten worse. Well, today you'll hear from Precinct 4 County Commissioner Kenneth Sexton. Sexton says that with all the flooding, he's answered and addressed every person that's called him, and that he and his office are here to help the nearly 9,000 people that live in Precinct 4. They'll do what they can, but the law does limit them since the counties are regulated by the state, meaning they can't dam, divert, or change the flow of water, but they can still help.
What we're getting to work on is we're going to do a lot more maintenance in the county. We're going to clean some culvert pipes out. We're going to replace a bunch of culvert pipes. We're going to add some cross pipes. I've got Civil Corp engineering working with us that I'm going to get some drawings taken care of to where we know that we're legally in our bounds what the plans that I have to fix we're going to do. 361-550-1809. That's my cell phone number. That's my personal cell phone. And if I don't answer, if I can be in meetings, I can be on the other line, please leave me a voicemail. All you have to do is say your first name and your number, and I promise you I'm going to call you back. You can ask anybody in this precinct. I've never not returned an email, call, or text.
Again, that number for Sexton is 361-550-1809. He says he's here to help. And remember, you can always come to our website, crossroadstoday.com, to find all that information. Karina, back to you.
Adam, thank you. And with that, let's take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Mac, the weekend is here. What do we have to look forward to?
Well, I think you have a lot to look forward to. Right now, it's rather soupy out there, fog and mist and a few little light showers around the area, 60 degrees. Now, the high temperature hasn't come in for the day, but it hasn't been much warmer than that. Now, tonight, overnight, around midnight, a frontal system comes in. That's going to blow everything away, and I think you're going to like the weekend. Lots of sunny skies and dry northerly winds. After a rough week, I think you'll enjoy it. We'll have more on that coming up a little bit later on. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. Law enforcement are warning about the dangers of flood waters after a man died Wednesday night. The Trinity County Sheriff's Office says the 74-year-old went missing after trying to get into his truck to retrieve some belongings. Police found his body around midnight. The Texas Division of Emergency Management says the threat of river flooding will continue through next week despite the rain ending. More than 30 million people are under flood watches from eastern Texas to the Tennessee Valley early this week. Legislation to address the crisis at the southern border might have to wait until next year. Former President Donald Trump is urging the GOP to reject a bipartisan deal. Hardline House Republicans already said they didn't want to compromise, so this could be the end for border legislation. Polls show immigration is a top issue for GOP voters, but now a border bill might not even be possible unless Democrats meet their demands. It could take even longer if Republicans don't win total control of the government. Now, Governor Greg Abbott is doubling down on his border initiatives despite being dealt a blow from the Supreme Court earlier this week. On Thursday, he asserted his argument that the Biden administration has failed its constitutional duties.
Texas and Governor Greg Abbott are making it no secret they're putting in more razor wire at the southern border just days after the U.S. Supreme Court gave the go-ahead to the federal government to remove the wire. In a lengthy statement, Governor Greg Abbott is reiterating arguments he cited before, asserting that the federal government has fallen short of its constitutional duties to protect the southern border. He's specifically citing U.S. Constitution Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, which says in part, no state shall without the consent of Congress keep troops in time of peace unless actually invaded. Governor Abbott has said the state is being invaded. The question is, would the courts agree?
It's not the kind of invasion that they were thinking of in 1787 or that any sensible person would think about today.
While the federal government is beginning to remove those razor wires at the southern border, there's still one key spot that remains in limbo: Shelby Park and Eagle Pass. The Texas National Guard has effectively stopped Border Patrol from accessing the area, prompting new legal concerns. Critics have called on the president to federalize the National Guard or effectively take control, something that is within his power. Earlier this week, White House officials said there are no plans to do that at the moment.
We can disagree on the use of the National Guard and other even state assets for the way that Governor Abbott is treating that border. We certainly disagree from a policy perspective, but legally he is, by authority, the state commander-in-chief of the National Guard.
Importantly, both sides have stopped short of open hostility, though the dynamic is certainly fraught.
I think both sides have been very careful to not let it escalate beyond essentially a war of words between people far, higher above the pay grade than the soldiers on the ground.
Last week, police arrested migrants at Shelby Park on charges of criminal trespassing. They were the first migrants arrested since the state of Texas took control of that area. Alabama is the first state to execute a person using nitrogen gas. Kenneth Smith was put to death using the controversial method last night. He chose this method after administrators failed several times to find an IV to set an IV line for his lethal injection in 2022. Nitrogen gas kills by causing suffocation. Media witnesses to Thursday's execution noted Smith was shaking during the beginning of the process.
I can hardly call this execution justice for the Senate family, and it's because it took over 3.5 decades for the sentence to be carried out. I want to tell the family, especially the victims' sons, Mike and Chuck, how genuinely sorry I am for the horrific manner in which their mother lost her life.
The only other states that allow death by nitrogen are Oklahoma and Mississippi, but neither have used it. Critics worry it could cause unnecessary suffering. This is going to lead us to your viewer poll this afternoon. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you support Alabama's use of nitrogen gas as a method of execution for Kenneth Smith? Do you strongly support, neutral, or oppose, or strongly oppose? We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. Shifting gears, Victoria College has big plans on their agenda. The College Board of Trustees approved a $33 million budget for construction. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick knows about the update on the campus. Adarius, what's going on at Victoria College?
Well, Karina, Victoria College plans to build a brand new student success center with construction set to begin next week. $10 million of the budget comes from a bond approved back in the May 2023 election. This $10 million makes up for only 24% of the cost. Grants and donations cover the remaining 76% of the budget. Victoria College's president, Dr. Jennifer Kent, released a statement about her excitement for the new addition.
we are excited to open doors to a brighter future for our region's students, whether starting with a GED, graduating with an associate's degree, transferring to a four-year university, or entering the workforce.
The new Student Success Center will feature a 3-story building. The building will house various student services. Construction is expected to finish in 2025, just in time for the college's 100th anniversary. Updates on the project can be found at victoriacollege.edu/bond23. Now, Victoria College invites the public to the groundbreaking ceremony for the new center January 30th, Tuesday afternoon at 4:30. Karina, back to you.
Darius, thank you. Early voting for the City of Victoria mayor runs through January 30th. Early voting is at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center, 2805 North Navarro, Classroom A. You can vote on January 29th and 30th. You can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On the ballot is Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker, Jacob Sauceda, and Bob Constantine. Join us Saturday, February 3rd for complete coverage of this special mayor election. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. The World Court has ruled in favor of South Africa, who accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5, the details in that ruling. Also ahead, a large pledge made by Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos for recovery efforts in Maui is now under scrutiny.
Here's a look at what's coming up on Community Crossroads. We hear from Be Well Victoria. We learn about the need for blood donations, the Heart Walk, and we learn a little bit about Black History Month and a special program coming to our community.
It's different. I really liked how Miss Shelton gave me Henry Brown because no one really knew about him, and I feel like I'm introducing him,
The International Court of Justice ordered Israel to take immediate measures to prevent the commission of genocidal acts in Gaza. The ruling announcement brought praise from South Africa, who claimed that Israel's actions in Gaza could amount to a genocide. However, they stopped short of a calling for an immediate ceasefire in Israel's war with Hamas, instead ordering Israel to submit a report within 1 month on how they will allow with the court's order. South Africa's president responded to the World Court's ruling.
The ICJ, as the principal judicial organ of the United Nations, has handed down a ruling that the State of Israel should immediately implement a set of provisional measures to prevent any further acts of genocide in Gaza. and to desist from such acts and to take effective measures to prevent the destruction and ensure the preservation of evidence relating to acts of genocide.
After the ruling, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel has a right to defend itself, and the accusations of genocide was, quote, outrageous, unquote. Now, some workers with the United Nations Relief and Workers Agency are being accused of participating in the October 7th attacks by Hamas on Israel. Israeli leaders say several employees with the agency were involved in the rampage in the southern section of the country. At least 1,200 people were killed. The State Department is temporarily halting more funding for the UNRWA, and the investigation is now underway. This announcement comes hours after the UN's top court ordered Israel to prevent genocide in Gaza. A $100 million Maui pledge by Amazon CEO and multi-billionaire Jeff Bezos is now under scrutiny. Bezos and his fiancée donated the money after the deadly fire, but months later, questions rose on where the money went. A spokesperson for Bezos said the couple donated $15.5 million to 4 local organizations in Maui, but the lack of transparency on how the money will be used is leaving a bad taste for Hawaii State Senator. While pledges get a lot of positive press, communities are often not included in the discussions of what's needed and where it's handled. Hawaii Senator hopes that these philanthropists will be more aggressive in their giving in the future. Vitamin C has been rumored to prevent or even relieve a common cold. One doctor has more on this, as well as tips on how to stay healthy during the respiratory virus season.
When it comes to the common cold, it's a story that's passed through generations. Vitamin C can prevent or cure symptoms, but is it fact or fiction?
Vitamin C is not a silver bullet. It's not going to be magical and get you just over this cold.
Dr. Jesse Bracamonte with Mayo Clinic says that while there's no research proving vitamin C can stop you from getting or feeling sick, there are some studies which suggest it may help relieve symptoms sooner, but only by about 10%. Regardless, he says vitamin C is an important part of health.
It helps collagen formation. It helps tissues heal. It helps protein and muscle form and stay healthy. It helps your immune system work well. So that's what vitamin C does.
It's found in foods like citrus fruits, berries, peppers, tomatoes, and broccoli.
The average orange has about 50 milligrams of vitamin C. So an orange, a strawberry, some of that, just nature's way of getting vitamin C should be enough to sustain you.
If you want to get more vitamin C, Bracamonte says supplements may be helpful, but to see a doctor before taking them.
Too much of anything is not a good thing.
And if you're looking for relief from a cold, you may just need some patience.
I just tell people old-fashioned thyme, rest, chicken soup can also be the best medicine.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
More than 60 campers were forced to evacuate from an RV park as water from the nearby San Jacinto River continued to rise. The RV resort general manager had to cut the power to the site as people fled to higher ground, some unaware their home was about to be surrounded by water. It was an organized chaos for campers to get out before they got wet, but they were able to evacuate safely.
Well, we did have substantial rain over the balance of this week. We don't have to worry about it for the weekend, but I just wanted to show you, if you didn't see it yesterday, since Monday, Riverside Park has had 7 inches of rain. Gonzales has had 8 inches of rain. Hallettsville, 10 inches of rain. So all of our rivers are going to be on the rise for the weekend. So do be careful there, but you're going to enjoy the sunshine coming in tomorrow. We'll talk more about that coming up in a moment. Well, good afternoon, folks. We did have a little soupy skies out there. We had a few very light showers that drifted through the area. Most of that is decreasing for us, increasing up in Houston where they're getting a little bit heavier rain. This is kind of the moisture that's left over from all that stuff. However, just about here, you'll see it sort of moving through where the dry air is rolling in, somewhere about I-35 right about now. That'll come in, and tomorrow morning, we're going to get a nice northerly wind. It's going to blow all that away, and we've got lots of sunshine for you for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We do have a little storm up here in the Panhandle that is producing the showers and a couple of thunderstorms up here along the Texas border. Most of that, obviously, too far away to have any effect on us. Here is the rainfall total over the last 24 hours, and you can see it's been very light around our area, except for that stuff near Houston. It's just been, shall we say, a light rainfall. All right. The big thing that we have to worry about over the weekend, and I don't want you to worry, I just want you to be aware of this, because then you'll know. You'll act accordingly. See, here's the river flooding for the Guadalupe River in Victoria, so basically Riverside Park. Here we are right about there. So the river is on the rise, and it will go into moderate to major flooding for about a day. Okay, so the crest is coming through right now. And then by Monday, Tuesday, it starts to decrease and will be okay. So over the weekend, I don't know if you're going camping or anything like that, but certainly the waters will be up at the riverside. It'll also be up in Cuero and in Bloomington as well. Here's where we are right now. So the crest of the Guadalupe in Cuero right here, as you see right about there, is today and tomorrow. And so that by Monday, Tuesday, all this is going to be draining away and we should be fine. We have no additional rainfall, obviously, coming in, so that should be the peak of it. Here's the Guadalupe River all the way down to Seadrift with the warnings, and also the rivers up to the north. The Navidad, all of them. I mean, you can think of a river. Just remember, up in this area, they had 8 to 12 inches of rain this week alone. So that water's got to drain off somehow, and it's going to go through all these rivers. Edna, El Campo, Wharton, all of you guys that know where the river is, you'll be watching it rise. All right, overnight temperatures. Let's see, this is Friday afternoon. Here we go to Saturday morning. We've got about 55 degrees as a low temperature. And then tomorrow afternoon, even though I expect a lot of sunshine, will be cooler, about 62. That's because the north wind will be kicking in, and when it does get here by sunrise, it will be very comfortable. This is future track, which is now. Then we go away, you see the dry air rolling in. It shows clouds, but I don't think we'll see much of cloud cover. It'll blow away early in the morning. And then for your Saturday afternoon and your Sunday, spectacular weather, very nice. The rain was spectacular too. It just, it was just 4 days of it. And that's pretty much over with. So let's take a look at your day planner for those of you in Port Lavaca. We'll start off with a few clouds, but they'll burn off, and the rest of the day will be nice and sunny. It'll be on the cooler side because of that northwest wind. And then sunny skies for the Cuero area, getting up to about 62. Now, after the front comes through in the morning, you'll get clearing skies, very nice weather, and you know what? We're going to call it generally dry all the way till next Thursday. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that so we can get you any kind of bulletin that comes along. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, antitrust regulators are looking into big tech companies and their use of AI startups. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow up 60 points, the S&P 500 down 3 points, and the Nasdaq down 55 points. Oil up 65 cents, closing at $78.01 a barrel. Federal regulators are looking into big tech ties to artificial intelligence companies. U.S. antitrust regulators have launched an inquiry into Amazon, Google, and Microsoft and their influence over AI startups that make chatbots and other tools. The Federal Trade Commission gave the tech giants, along with 2 AI companies, 45 days to provide information about their agreements and decision-making behind them. Stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast. Plus, cut a slice of something chocolatey because Saturday tomorrow is National Chocolate Cake Day. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight right after 25 News Now at 5.
Tonight is a possible bipartisan solution to the border crisis colliding with campaign politics, plus tracking the flooding from heavy rain and melting snow. More Americans turn to the most watched newscast on television. World News Tonight with David Muir.
Join me for the 2024 Crossroads Heart and Stroke Walk. The event takes place on Saturday, February 3rd at 8 a.m. and the walk will start at 8:15 at Riverside Park. I hope to see you there. Now, tomorrow, Saturday, is the perfect day to have your cake and eat it too, because it's National Chocolate Cake Day. The origin of cake is believed to have been somewhere around 1765 when a doctor and a chocolate maker teamed up for the ultimate dessert. The first box cake mix was created by a company called Duff & Sons in the late 1920s, and then Betty Crocker released their first dry cake mixes in 1947. And you know what? We had some cake today. We had some chocolate cake. We're ahead of the...
We actually did. We had a birthday party in the newsroom.
Yeah, happy birthday, Zach.
Zach.
Yeah, you see him out there?
He's 20 something.
He's 21 again for... I don't know.
Fifth time.
The 5th time, 8th time, I don't know.
So yeah, so chocolate cake is always good. Folks, we've got a pretty good looking weekend. Now tonight it's kind of soupy and you might see some drizzle, a little rain shower, but most of that is decreasing. But by sunrise we'll pick up a north wind and it's going to clear up, and your Saturday is going to be very nice. Your Sunday is going to be spectacular. A little on the cooler side. We'll get down to only 62 as a high. That's because we're picking up that northwest wind, and we've got about 5 to 7 days of dry weather, which is important, but is not as important. Well, how does I say it? The 4 days of rain were important. Now we need, obviously, time to dry up and get everything through the rivers. And we'll soak in the sun while the rivers or bottoms are going to be kind of busy. So that's going to be the weekend. And you know, it's like anything. You know that it's going to be flooded along the river bottoms. So do be cautious and don't get caught.
Turn around, don't drown.
That's what they say.
That is right. Thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.